think, Danny, it's about how you see things, because the way you see money at the very beginning of your career is completely different than the way you see it when you have 100 million, and it's different when you have a billion.
Oh my God, what's going on here?
It's fire.
Who are you today?
I love businesses because they create jobs and they create opportunities for people. And when I see that I can create someone where we can hire more people, I just feel very happy.
Is Rolls-Royce your favorite brand?
Because I'm driving one?
Yeah.
I like it because it's similar to my personality at some point.
You show that you just started.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like
It's kind of new money, right?
Yeah, you're new to money.
Yeah. Are you being my psychologist today?
Yes, I want to. What do you think it was that another shift, another change that it happened to you to be able to go with your version to the next version?
I told my mom once, I told her that sometimes I would fast like the whole day and only eat in the evening. I would eat a pasta or something that I would cook.
I can literally go, I don't know, invite you for dinner first, very selective places. I can invite you to a summit or event in a different country. We travel together, I take care, I do 1, 2, 3, we go there, spend time a little bit out of the event.
I think something beautiful happens the moment you kind of fall in love with what you do. Nothing beats a person that is so passionate about what they do and that are so obsessed with what they do. I know that you're a great person, you're gonna be there.
You want 1 million? Okay, let's do it together.
Exactly.
You want 10 million? Let's do it together.
You want a Lamborghini? Let's work on it. Money was never something in my heart, and I was very tough with myself all the way in since the very beginning to do things by my own, to earn my own money and be able to afford what I want. It's like you're trying to show something that you lack, and I'm so against that. Thank you for this amazing talk.
Hello guys, welcome back to ICN Talks. Indeed, the podcast where we aim to interview only superstars, and in today's episode I have a very special one as usual. Her name is Hasnae Taleb. Thank you so much for coming to ICN Talks for the very first time.
Thank you so much, Danny, for having me. I'm sure we're going to have an amazing conversation.
Indeed. We already had one yesterday.
Yeah.
And we met, we had a conversation, and I discovered an amazing personality. I'm super excited to put your personality out there. Let's see how much you'll allow me to discover today.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Multi-award-winning stock trader, history maker NASDAQ, member of US Chamber, financial shark, investor. Oh my God, what's going on here? What we have here, indeed, a superstar in finance, yes?
A small one.
You are generous with you. I'm telling you guys for real. She's a world-class superstar in the finance world. You just need to type in your name and you'll find what's going on there. Where this financial markets hunger comes from?
My beginnings, I come from a very humble family. I come from Morocco, and I always dreamt of bigger things. I actually never thought I would do finance. When you hear about finance for the first time, you only imagine what? Accountants, numbers, CFOs, and it's a little bit like boring, complicated.
Or maybe just men.
Or just men, exactly. And I grew up in that environment where I thought that money was only meant for the best people in the world, or kind of the chosen ones. So I never thought that finance would be something that I really wanted to do. Even when I went to the US and they asked me to choose the major, of my graduation, and I was like, what am I going to choose? I didn't know. But the only thing that I imagined myself doing is managing people, managing companies. I knew that I wanted to become a businesswoman. I knew that I wanted to manage employees, build stuff, travel the world. So I had to pursue business administration. And then after some time, I discovered about the stock market by chance, and it was something that I got so passionate about the first time I heard about it and I searched about it, I think I became obsessed. And this is how I started my
What
finance
was
journey.
that chance? What was that particular day or moment, if you can rewire?
Yeah.
And when it was that?
So first of all, I'm a kind of a very good student. So I would listen and pay attention during my classes. And at that time, it was a macroeconomics class when the professor started talking about the stock market and started talking about companies going pre-IPO, IPO, primary market, secondary market, and all these things. And then he said, anybody can buy shares of companies. Anybody can buy stocks, right? And so I was like, even people like us, even me, I'm just like a student. And then
Anybody triggered you?
Exactly. And imagine we were like a lot of students in the classroom, but I think I was the only one who kind of captured that and went so deep and super curious about. And this is how we started searching about it. And the more I searched, the more something inside of me, I've never felt that energy before, because I've tried different things before. I've tried different internships. I've tried different majors. I was so lost at the beginning. I wanted to do marketing, and then I wanted to do just business administration. I didn't know what major I wanted to do. But the moment I learned about the stock market, I was like, this is it.
You
It's
felt
just
like sort of fulfillment, internal fulfillment, like
it's
was
fire.
feeding you
Yeah.
with.
Something that I would like learn about every single day. I was obsessed, Danny. When I say obsessed, it's like being obsessed with something. It's like when I would finish my classes and in the evening, I would go and open my laptop and I would sleep around 1, 2. I'm like searching about this every single day.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it's...
I mean, when you look back now, is this the only way to make it, to be obsessed with your stuff?
Yeah, I think something beautiful happens the moment you kind of fall in love with what you do. Nothing beats a person that is so passionate about what they do and that are so obsessed with what they do. If you find that one thing that you're in love with, it's just like you being in love with someone, right? Then you create the most beautiful relationship ever. And you being in love with what you do, I think you become successful at it because you don't feel like working. I go to work, I don't feel like I'm working. I go to meetings, I don't feel like it. I just feel like I'm having fun. I'm enjoying what I do. And a lot of people come to me and say, I want to make money. Please teach me how to make money from the stock market. And then you start talking to them and understand who they are, what drives them. And then sometimes the stock market does not drive them. And I'm like, this is not your thing. You have to find what you're good at and do it.
So stock market is just the vehicle of is a front end soldier for your back end dream, because you are driven by certain power. Either is a lot of money, 100 billions of whatever, or you want status, or you want to be someone, or you want to say. So you are just using a different type of financial vehicle, which in your case is stock trading, but in the back end, actually, you aim to become that best version, your dream version.
Yeah, I got what you mean. Well, money actually was never my drive. It was never... I mean, when I started the stock market, I just wanted to support my studies. I just wanted to, I was in a very difficult situation when I was alone in the US and I had literally like no money, and I had to make a living. And for me, it was
like,
just...
a cheeseburger will be good.
Yeah, sometimes I would fast for days. Like when I remember those days, I mean, I told my mom once, I told her that sometimes I would fast like the whole day and only eat in the evening. I would eat a pasta or something that I would cook, and then she started crying. And I still remember that some of my kind of classmates, they kind of bullied me at some point because they would go for lunch and I would skip lunch completely. And then they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" But yeah, going back to the topic, I think money was never my motive. It was every step of my life. There was a goal behind it. How much did I want to achieve? For what specific goal? But the thing is, I wanted to become great at what I do. I was obsessed with being the best at what I do.
You made first million very early,
Yeah, at the age
right?
of 23. Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
What is that like? What was your happiness moment when you saw the number in your account?
I didn't know what to do with it, to be honest. But the only thing that I knew is that I wanted to invest it. How can I multiply it? I always came from the mindset of, planning ahead of time. I'm someone who plans like in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't want to just live the moment. A lot of people said, oh, buy cars. Well, I bought a supercar, but people said, oh, just spend it, travel and all of these things. But I was always moderate. The funny part is that I always kept my lifestyle the same at some point. I only took the things that I needed. If I would buy something like a luxury car, is because I really love it and I want to drive that car. And it made sense in my head as well,
Is Rolls-Royce your favorite brand?
because I'm driving one.
Yeah.
I like it because it's similar to my personality at some point.
Okay. I mean, you see yourself in this brand, yeah? It's like you resonate from it gives you the what gives you what do you take what's your withdraw from this ownership of having a Rolls Royce?
Honestly, I feel like you have to choose the car that represents your personality, right? I don't just drive a Rolls Royce. I have another daily car that I use as well. But this one,
business move. It's a business move. Is that status when you go, have your deals, your meetings, your negotiations, and it is a sort of positioning as well.
You mean that I have decided to get it so I can position myself in a certain way? Actually, I never thought about it this way.
Right?
No. Actually, sometimes I don't care.
Okay.
I can just Uber myself somewhere and I don't really care about driving a car. A lot of my friends, first, before I got the car, they were trying to recommend me something that, different stuff, But I felt like it just represents who I am. And the moment I drove it, I was like, it speaks to me, I speak to it. I got it from another perspective just because it's very comfortable. It's very kind of sophisticated. It's powerful. It's a decent car, right? If I had to choose between a 911 or a Lamborghini, I would choose a 911. It's kind of a discreet car, very powerful. It does things. Some people, they like flashy.
Yourself right now?
Well, maybe it has something to do with my personality.
Discreet
I don't like
and super powerful.
I'm not saying that. Are you being my psychologist today?
Yes, I want to.
No, I think it's kind of calm and not shallow and not very flashy at the same time.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking you is because after a certain level, it doesn't matter what these or other brands do or they create or how the world looking like in that part.
Yeah.
But you are acting and you are behaving based on who you are. It doesn't matter if it's maybe the most expensive car in the world, but if you don't see anything in you there, you won't take it, right?
Exactly. I feel like people became so shallow that they buy brands or certain brands regardless of the quality, regardless of the story behind it. They just buy certain things so they can kind of satisfy others. Just like what you said. Some people, they would buy certain things to say, oh, how the other people are perceiving me. When I go to the meeting, I don't care about how, I have to be presentable, but I don't care about wearing flashy brands. I might be wearing a brand, but you wouldn't tell that it's actually a brand. Yeah, those kind of, those kind of flashy things. It's like you're trying to show something that you lack. And I'm so against that. You know what I mean?
That's one part, and you show that you just started.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's kind of new money, right?
Yeah, you're new to money, of course.
Yeah.
At one point, your life has completely changed. You went to totally different scale. What do you think it was that piece of mindset that you acquired to be able to scale from, let's say, just 1 million or 2 to a totally different level? managing investment funds, going to, you can mention your numbers like
Yeah.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. What do you think it was that another shift, another change that it happened to you to be able to go with your version to the next version?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, Danny, it's about how you see things, because the way you see money at the very beginning of your career is completely different than the way you see it when you have 100 million, and it's different when you have a billion, right? The risk parameters
I
change.
wish I said yes, indeed, it's different. I'm not here yet,
It is different, because look at it from this perspective. When you don't have enough, right, you start struggling with that thought, just like you don't have enough, and then you kind of block your mind to believe that you can achieve 1 million, for example. And I think it's all about how you believe in yourself and the thoughts that you feed your brain with. And I think the brain is the most powerful thing ever. I've seen people that are brilliant, they're super talented, they're beautiful people, amazing, ambitious, and everything. But there's that little thought that blocks them, that says, oh, if Danny did it, it means I cannot do it. But who said that that's reality? You're creating your own reality, but how you think about it, right? And when you're asking me about that one thought, it's about me believing that everything is possible. You know, I sat in tables back in the days where I had no clue what people are saying. I went to events and I was very uncomfortable. Like, I still remember the first investment sovereign fund event that I went to. I mean, people, they were talking about billions, and I thought it was like, how is this even possible? I didn't know that those numbers exist, right? If I tell you there's a deal for like $30 billion and I tell you about all of these crazy stuff, you probably think that is this real? Is this not real? Is this true? Is it, you know? But when you're in the moment and you start learning more and meeting people and getting to know what it takes to kickstart a project, how much funds are needed and everything, you start believing that it's possible, right? That it's common sense. And so it all comes back to, what do you believe and what do you feed your brain with? If you feed it with negative stuff, that's what you will receive. If you feed it with great stuff, that's what you will receive. So it's like your brain is like a mirror of who you want to be.
Exactly. I mean, the self-conversation is the most valuable input, right, in all this mindset game. Like, exactly what you just said is a pure reflection of personal success. And I want to ask you another thing. Do you think it's harder to go from 10,000 to a mil, or from 1 mil to 100 mil?
From a mil to 100 mil, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it's different.
When you have a smaller account, it's really hard to build money. I think whatever you see on social media about, you know, I see a lot of things on, you know, on Instagram.
What is the hardest part? Let's go with that. The hardest part, 10K to mil. What is the hardest part there in this stage?
The hardest part is that if I tell you you're going to invest $10,000 and you will get 5% out of that $10,000, how much is that?
Nothing.
You're not going to see a huge change.
Like big number scale, yes.
Exactly. So the wealthy, they would invest $1 million and they would get like 5%, 10% on their investments based on where they would put their asset. And then you will start seeing some money coming in. That money, maybe it might not be a huge number, but it pays off a lot of other things, right? It could pay off a mortgage that you have taken for some of your properties. It might pay off, you know, different things. It might pay off just your card or whatsoever. So, but when I tell you only have $10,000 and then, you know, you're going to take 5% out of that, it's probably nothing for you. If you're kind of trading every single day, that's, I have done.
The compound effect
of
small wins.
Yeah, exactly. It's those small wins, but it takes a lot of dedication. And sometimes the markets go south and you might lose everything and go back. You know, you've heard of psychology of trading.
To the base.
Exactly. So it's a really tough game. Whatever you hear on social media, I mean, I see everybody on social media talking about, yeah, how can you grow this to this? I mean, it's possible, but it's really tough. It's really hard.
And
You have to always think about it from returns perspective. How much returns am I targeting? Am I targeting 5%, 10%, 30%, 35%? And what is my risk ratio? You know, from low to high. That's how you should think about your investments. And then you do the math.
And by the way, it's possible to go back to the base from 50 mil as well. The game is, it's an open game, right? Have you seen this type of beautiful failures?
Yeah. The rise and fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is the environment there? Like, what are the conversations when you are like 50 mil down?
So to answer that, I'll just take you a little bit
Sure.
a step back. If you talk to billionaires, the way they see money is more like a trial and error. So it's all about risking things. And if you want higher returns, you have to go high risk, right? If you want medium returns or low returns, you have to go low risk. So, and people with money, they start thinking about how can I take risks on certain things, but with moderation. It's calculated risk, right? So I have 10 mil, I can sacrifice 1 mil. The people with no money, they start thinking about how can I protect this money? They don't even want to invest. They're afraid to take that first step to invest. You see the relationship that you have with money. And so when you go to that rise and fall, I mean, there's another mindset that risk everything and they don't think about tomorrow. I've seen founders that would put all of their eggs in one basket. And I think the best formula is just for you to be kind of balanced. To be balanced with who you are, what you want, your ambitions, your life, your money, everything. You should be a very balanced person. I mean, it's really hard. I try this every day. I try to be a balanced person with everything that I do. But it depends on, we're humans and everybody's different. So
Who are you today?
in what sense?
You wake up in the morning. First thoughts, like you see yourself. What type of self conversations do you have with this version that you're running now?
I always think of first how to be balanced. I feel like I have a lot of responsibility over my shoulders, either towards my partners, towards my employees, towards my family. So I feel like, how can I contribute and give the best to everybody? I always look at the best of people and for people. And sometimes I also try to give time for myself, because if I don't have energy, how am I giving someone energy? If I don't have time, how am I giving someone time? So I go back and do that kind of, exercise where to give myself time and energy and everything. And that's why you see me doing a lot of activities. I do sports, I network, I kind of try to do everything, but in balance and moderation. And here is something funny, but I would advise everybody to kind of do a one-on-one session, just like a meeting that we're having right now, this discussion. You do it with yourself once a week. And you ask yourself questions and you try to answer them, but by writing them so you can see them. When you see it visually, it's just very different. And you have that conversation with yourself and assess yourself. You're gonna learn so much about who you are that you probably don't know about yourself. And this is something that I always do.
It's a beautiful strategy, but requires one crucial element. You have to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like you are fake news, right? You go and you have to look and whatever you see, you have to say it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's like, no, you just...
Yeah, a lot of people are not honest with themselves. And a lot of people, they don't know that they're not honest with themselves because they are not self-aware. Danny...
What is worse? Like,
is
you are aware
sure.
that you are not honest?
Yeah.
Or like you are not even aware that you are not honest?
Well, think about it. Every single bad person in this planet, they kind of justify whatever they do with something that is good. And so they're not aware. that they do something bad. They do something bad and you tell them that you're doing something bad, but then they're going to give you thousands of justifications why it is not something bad. Because that's how they convince their mind. So the worst thing is basically not knowing that you're doing something bad because the eyes are blind and the hearts are blind.
In fact, these are not really the bad peoples, right? Because the intention behind, they think this is something good. But the really bad ones, that is, I know I'm doing something bad and I'm still doing it. Like, this is a bad person. Like, in the moment you are aware about the intention and the action are aligned, this is like when it's 100% matching, right? Because you can do mistakes, you can do bad things, but with good intention. And that's not a mistake, by the way. Like, that one is just a, different end result, not that you want. But if the intention was good, I'm fine with that. Let's repeat the process, because at one point, but if you know that the end result, like you intentionally go with this end result in your mind, and you doesn't matter for you, just start anyway, that's very bad. Indeed. Okay, today you have this type of environment in your life where you choose those moments when you want to have value, right? In environment, you have this a very exclusive contribution, but when you contribute, you are for sure that is something will be with impact, right?
You have to be selective.
You have to be selective.
Even with people, you have to be very selective. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I've done at the beginning of my career is if somebody wants to have a meeting, I'm just like, okay, let's go have a meeting. I'm exploring things. But then I discovered that I was wasting a lot of time, that none of these meetings have resulted in anything. And it was just purely waste of time. And then I asked myself, what am I getting out of this? Right? And again, it goes back to that self-assessment that you do with yourself, right? And so one day I just said, no, I'm not. Unless the agenda is well-defined, I know what I want from this meeting, and then I go to it. Just like you going to meetings, going to events, going to podcasts, going to whatever you want to go. You have to define what you really want as an outcome before you do it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
But don't you think is necessary to because if you didn't do that stuff, like to be that mouse in the wheel, right? Like go and attend 200 events per month everywhere. You show up everywhere, all the meetings. You drive 1 hour just to sit for half an hour with someone and 1 hour back. Like all this wasting time that you put it into effort and literally work, because there's a lot of work behind, physically, mental work in the same time. Is it necessary? Is a stage that you have to do it? If you skip this, you can't achieve this level of exclusivity when it's not that you just one day you wake up and say, from today I'm super exclusive. Okay, you choose from what? Like you are able to choose now, right? You are in position to choose.
But because I have invested in myself. Well, that was whatever. I don't think they're necessary, but maybe they are. Maybe they were necessary for me to know that I don't have to waste my time and be convinced with my decision. But I think what really leads you to be very selective is you investing in yourself, in who you are, in your knowledge, in your image, in your brand. You don't have to be famous, but you have to, position yourself the right way. I mean, I do see a lot of people that don't even have a clean, defined LinkedIn page that represents who you are. You don't need to be to have millions of followers, but you need to be well defined, because then this is when you try to be selective, the other person sees the value that you're bringing in, sees who you are just behind a name.
Have you noticed that people are more interested in you when you don't need them at all? Like when you go around and you have no needs and you became the wanted one when you don't need anything. People, they try to make you favors when you don't need one. They try to make you even more favors when when they think that favor will position themselves in front of you different.
You know what favors do? They make you more attached to the person. If I do a favor to you, it would make you more attached to me, or at least accept me as like a part, in the circle of your friends.
It's an acceptance game here.
Yeah. So be aware of what you accept and what you're not accepting. When someone is doing favors to you, you have to ask yourself, why are they doing it? Because maybe they have ulterior motives. But I understand where you're coming from. I think when you know who you are, people like that. And it's an energy, because you respect yourself. You have certain standards, you have certain principles that you define yourself and your limits. People respect that.
What if it's a $1 billion favor?
What do you mean?
Like if it's a billion, I don't know, property, what can be $1 billion? And
someone to offer you? Why would you accept it?
I'm asking. Like if the favor is that something that, you don't want that much in that relationship, but if the offer is too big, okay, then it makes you thinking, or still not.
You're talking about me?
Yeah, of course.
No, of course not. It happened so many times before.
There's no someone else.
No, I thought you were talking in general. No, of course not.
I want to enter now. I want to go there to see. Let's see.
I would never do, because money was never something in my heart. And I was very tough with myself all the way in, since the very beginning, to do things by my own, to earn my own money and be able to afford what I want. I have received proposals and...
Tell me more.
Yeah, marriage proposals. I still remember this incident that has happened when I first came into Dubai, and I was pitching one of my investment opportunities, and there was this investor, and we were in this round table in a meeting room, just like this, and I was like pitching, very excited, bringing in the value proposition, talking numbers, and then the guy, after he finished, he was like, why are you wasting your time with all of this? I said, excuse me? And then he was like, why don't you just be my girlfriend? And I'll give you a penthouse. I'll buy you a supercar. You don't need to do anything. Like that, you have no idea. But I kind of became a black cat that has really, really annoyed me and made me super upset, that I even created a fuss and a scene that day. Because how can you disrespect someone, especially a woman, when she's like positioning herself and trying to be the best version of herself, speaking mind to mind to you, and it's a pure business conversation, and give an offer like that at the end? Maybe if I tell this story to somebody and it's a woman, she would accept. We do see a lot of cases like that when they would accept, because she's going to justify it in her head. He's a nice guy. He's this, he's that. Why not? It's an occasion to meet somebody. But why would I accept something from somebody that I don't know? Or even if I know, like I can do things on my own, And I think this is coming also from something that I lived as a teenager or as a very young woman. It's because I always wanted to prove to the world that I have a brain and I can do things and I don't need, shortcuts. Exactly. I was very talented at singing, but the reason why I did not pursue it is because I wanted to prove so hard that, I'm like a woman can be smart and can be beautiful and can be successful and can be everything in one. She doesn't have to choose shortcuts. She doesn't have to do silly videos on YouTube or on TikTok just to get views, just to be successful. No, you can use your head. And women can be more talented because they have some qualities that even men don't have, like multitasking. We were born to be mothers, where you can multitask as a woman, have children, take care of the house, have a job, everything at once. So why accept shortcuts when you can just do it on your own?
I think the guy did a big mistake with the way how he created the offer, because fundamentally the offer was good. But the offer had a very low entry point.
Why
Like
would the offer be good? The
I mean,
offer
like,
was absolutely not good.
no,
At least
I'm
for
saying,
me.
yeah, I'm fundamentally, okay, like literally he wanted you to have no worries in this life. But if you enter such
How
a
do you know
low,
it's no worries?
I'm
It's
based on
all
what he said,
worries.
right? Like penthouse, supercars, blah blah blah,
How
like
do you
this,
know
like
it's no worries?
no worries financially speaking, right?
How do you know? Everything has a price in life, Danny.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
I learned
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Everything has a life,
Yeah.
has a price.
No, I'm saying maybe when you have this, financial power behind.
But I
There is
already had money. Like
no,
it's
I'm
not like
saying
a
as a man, right? You don't enter, particularly when you like what you see. Okay, you find such a beautiful
I'll tell
representative.
you something. I think it was a very wrong offer to the wrong person, because some men, with all of my respect to all men, they think that everybody is the same. They think
Yes,
that every
exactly.
single woman is the same, especially in big cities. They think that money can buy everything. But how do you know what that person lacks? What makes the perfect relationship is you have something that I don't have, and I have something that you don't have. And we make a team together and we create beautiful things. We can create anything. You know, it's like a piece of a puzzle that you fill in, and it just becomes a beautiful piece. So, and some men, when they try to meet somebody, or they give they think that money can
They
be the
look for shortcuts
price.
also. Maybe they are not patient enough to spend time in all this process, and then they just go with the end result. Hey, I'm giving you this. Do you want this end result or not? So this entire process of building is completely removed, because there is another strategy, right? I can literally go, I don't know, invite you for dinner first, in a very selective places. I can invite you to a summit or event in a different country. We travel together. I take care. I do 1, 2, 3. We go there. We spend time a little bit out of the event. Like a little bit, I'm entering in your world in a totally different way, right? Like there's, okay, you want my penthouse and my supercar. Like that's a very bad entry
Yeah. And it
point.
also depends on the culture as well. I'm kind of, open-minded with my thoughts of how I see things, how I view things. But fundamentally, I have a lot of limits and beliefs and standards that I go by. And I sometimes reflect and think about myself as like I respect culture a lot. And so, again, it really depends on the culture where you come from.
I can say that we had a great conversation yesterday as well, right? And you told me that, okay, somehow you say, I want this, and this in life, right? But if these things are something that is doable, okay, we put them in the drawer that we can do them together, right? And I want from you something that is not doable everywhere. Like you mentioned, like loyalty. I want your respect. I want you to be at a certain standards in these parts of life, right?
Yeah,
Everything else, you want 1 million, okay, let's do it together. You want
exactly.
10 million, let's do it
You
together. It
want
doesn't matter.
a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Let's
How
work
is
on
this
it.
world a beautiful version like you, right? Like all these physical disadvantages that you have in coma, right? How does the world look like from your perspective? What type of men will have access to this level of versions like you?
I'm a very simple woman, but maybe I'm simple and not simple at the same time. But I'm very simple in a way that I look at the qualities of people. When I sit with Danny, I don't care about what Danny has and how much money does he have in his bank account. I care about him being a hardworking person, having a great show, he's doing great things, meeting great people. And I care about how you treat others. I care about you as a human being, because what's inside of you cannot be found anybody else, right? And what saddens me a lot is that when I lived in New York City, I live in Dubai. I mean, all big cities around the world, they have this common thing in between is that, and in common, is that people, they start looking at others as objects. I look at you as like a cup of water, right? And how filled is this water in terms of materialistic things? Girls nowadays, they don't go on dates unless you give them gifts. I mean,
Present a certain standard.
exactly. But what I care about personally
What do they miss
is
when they have this strategy?
you being loyal, you being a great person, you taking care. Because I know that if you're all of these things, one day when I have no beauty, or God forbid something happens to me or to my family, or whatever, you're going to take care.
Yeah.
You're going to be there. I know that you're going to, you're a great person. You're going to be there. But if all I care about is money, I mean, there is a big question mark because money is not everything. You might have money, but you're not happy. You might have money, but you never feel fulfilled. A lot of people have great things. They have a great house, great car, but they're never fulfilled. They never say, thank God for what I have. They just care about how can I have more and more and more. You buy them gifts. There are some women, you buy them stuff and they just want more and more and more. They're never fulfilled because they're trying to fill in a void that will never be filled unless you fill it you yourself from within and say, I'm fulfilled with what I have.
What's your next best business move from here?
I want to I love businesses because they create jobs and they create opportunities for people. And when I see that I can create someone where we can hire more people, I just feel very happy. We have a fund that has deployed capital in more than 35, I think now 38 businesses all around the world. And each of these businesses, we have more than 200, 300 to 800 employees. And it's just beautiful to see because you're contributing to all of that ecosystem, right? I do see myself doing more investments, diversifying more of our portfolios, building great businesses, supporting founders to build businesses, and adds value to where it matters.
If it is a mindset game, do you think you're still lacking some parts to become, I don't know, like 10 billion or $50 billion person? Like still is a different mindset at that super, super high level, or is just a matter of just multiplying what you're already doing and I don't know, open another 10 investment funds? It's just...
Yeah. I think, Danny, when you reach to a certain point, what's next is alignment. Is not getting more, but more align yourself and position yourself in the right way. And certainly time takes you to do better and great, right? The world of money is very dirty and you have to know where you put your hands. You can easily get to bigger figures if you do it the wrong way, probably. But if you want to do it the right way, then there is time. So it's a matter of decision, who you are, what do you want to do, what's the right thing for you to do. I see people, they're billionaires, but they have done it the wrong way, and I've seen people that are millionaires and they have done it the right way. So
different energy, yeah?
Different energy, exactly.
You see yourself in Dubai next? Like will be...
I love Dubai.
Yeah.
I love Dubai.
Me too, yeah.
Like Dubai is one of the most beautiful cities. There's a whole energy here. People are flying from all over the world to be here, to do business here. It's supporting, people, governments are pushing everybody to do great and build businesses. And we
are on the right spot indeed.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful place from all perspective, like lifestyle, society, safety, business, money, brilliant minds like yourself.
Thank you.
And I wish we can go even more of this, but maybe we can keep it open for part 2 somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to see you building unbelievable things. because you already proved that you are a superstar. I want to see that super bold business moves that has never been done before. And please come back to ICN Talks.
Thank you so much,
Sometime.
Danny, for having me. Thank you for this amazing talk. It was great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching, and see you again on the next one.